all behind you. I said, take down everything that stands in your way. Don't stop believing it'll work out again, my friend. Stand out and be a part of everything good. Wake up, you're gonna be all that you should. Try out all the things you always wanted to be. You'll see, 'cause I know what I know, that you've got it in you, and I see that you are a winner.
Hello. I'm not what you expected, am I? You thought for a video entitled Beauty Talk for Girls, you would expect a beautiful girl here to give you all her secrets to how she can look so awesome. Well, honestly, I think you can learn more from somebody like me than you can from her, because she's probably not going to want to share all her secrets with you. She's going to keep a couple to herself, because ultimately her goal is to be more beautiful than you. You know, I've been on that merry-go-round my entire life. The whole trying to be good enough merry-go-round, trying to be beautiful enough to turn somebody's head. I'm not saying that men have it easier than women, though I do think they do. I think it's different for them, but I do think that they too have their need to be attractive enough to turn heads too. I mean, hopefully men don't care. I mean, if they were smart, they wouldn't care. But a lot of women, we have this pressure from society that we do need to care, and we need to care a lot, and we need to put a lot of effort into being what the man finds attractive. That's been the roller coaster, the merry-go-round I've been on my whole life. It's like, to me, it's been a fiercer battle maybe than to somebody who's born with the right genes. I've had to fight really hard just to be average looking. You know, I can't really aspire to be beautiful physically. So I've tried very hard just to be average. Just to be, you know. And I'm off that merry-go-round now, and it's incredibly liberating. And I feel like the one nice thing about getting older is I no longer have to be on that ride, that life-consuming ride that decides your value as a human being. I am off the ride. I am invisible now, and it's kind of cool to be invisible. You can get away with a lot. But a lot of women are not invisible, and they're not off the ride, and so they go through this every day. Not every woman. Some women have the confidence. Have you ever noticed when somebody walks into a room and she's dressed to the nines, and her hair's done up, and her makeup is nice, and she has her head held high, and she's got a big smile, and her eyes just radiate confidence, and the way she moves just radiates self-confidence and self-appreciation. She's happy with who she is. Have you ever noticed that that kind of woman can turn heads? And maybe after she does, you might think, after a second look, well, she's kind of overweight. She's got a big nose, you know. But nevertheless, she turned heads. She's not beautiful in the commercial definition of that word. She's very average. She's average. But what makes her turn heads is her confidence, her liking who she is, her presenting herself to the world like, here I am. Her self-confidence makes her sexy. doesn't have to be a stunning beauty. She's sexy because she's confident and she likes herself. And she doesn't have anything to hide. She's not ashamed just to be alive. She is damn happy to be here, and she knows what she wants. She's a confident person, and that makes her sexy. That radiates from her and attracts people. It attracts people to her. They want to be with her. Somebody like that, somebody who smiles and has her head held high and is not afraid to say hello and look people in the eyes, attracts people. There doesn't have to be this stunning beauty there. Just somebody who's happy in her own skin and is confident about who she is and what she wants out of her life. There's more beauty that you can radiate from the inside. Doesn't matter how you do your makeup, or how you dress, or how you do your hair, or how tall your heels are, or how you walk. Although walking confidently does show. I said in an earlier video, I don't like the word ugly. I just think it's a horrible word, and I don't like the fact that we rank people according to their physical appearance. You know, if you lined up every beautiful woman from this moment to the beginning of time, all the women deemed beauties by the men of their generation, if you lined all those women up, you would immediately notice some of them aren't as beautiful as others, and you would have those women step aside. And then with what's left, again, you would notice that some are not as beautiful as others, and you would have them step aside too. And still, even still, there would be women left that some of them just aren't as beautiful as others. You would have them step aside, and so on, and so on. The point to this is there's always going to be somebody more beautiful than you. Always. And deciding somebody's value based on what they look like. You know, what about the women that never even get to be on the stage at all? They're not beautiful enough to even be in that first lineup. You know, I'm willing to bet that a lot of those women have people in their lives who love and adore them and cherish them and think they're beautiful. Because ultimately, one person's idea of beauty is not going to be the same as the next. And even the winner of this contest, the last 10 women standing there, that is all going to be based on the cultures of the judges, the people who are judging this competition, where they were raised and how they were brought up and what their culture considers to be beautiful. That will decide the very most beautiful women on that stage. And so it's subjective, the whole idea, you know, and ranking people by what they physically look like is, in my opinion, really a stupid thing, yet we do it. And all the women that did not make that first cut, they got to the stage, but they didn't make the first cut. They were asked to step aside. They feel terrible. They feel terrible because those other women were apparently more beautiful than they are. And they let something like that make them feel terrible, which is basically just a few people's opinions. It's not true. Just because a few people, the judges of this competition, have decided that these women over here need to step aside and these women can stay, that doesn't mean that these women over here are less beautiful. They're just less beautiful in the eyes of the people doing the judging. You know, and so these people that have been asked to step aside, these women, feel bad. And the women who never even get to be in the contest, they just assume, okay, well, I'm not beautiful enough. Well, how do you know you're not beautiful enough? And who decides beauty? What about the woman that never even has a hope to because her shape is wrong, or her hair isn't good, her hair isn't perfect enough. Maybe she's got too many cowlicks in her hair, or she's got a receding chin maybe, or her eyes aren't beautiful enough. Maybe her eyes are kind of close together, you know, or maybe her face isn't quite right, you know, or her neck is too short, or whatever. Maybe she's got a little bit of a bow leg to her when she walks. Do you decide a person's value based on these trivial things? What decides a person's value? I know I have met some particularly horrible people that were absolutely gorgeous. I've also met some horrible people that were plain because they let the message get to them and make them bitter. The constant message that women who aren't ravishing, whatever, gorgeous women, they have to kind of hear. It's hard to be the one when you walk into a room that is ignored while your friend next to you, who's, you know, taller than you or whatever, gets all the attention. It's hard to always be the one that's overlooked. And some women let it get to them and they become bitter after a while. Or they start to believe what the opinion is of, you know, they start to believe it of themselves. Oh, I'm not as good. I'm not beautiful. They start to believe it. They start to hate what they see in the mirror. And their shoulders get rounded, their head gets lowered, they walk like they're kind of feeling dejected. They no longer have that self-confidence about how they walk and how they hold their head and how they talk and how they look at people. They basically become what the message is that they're hearing all the time. Well, you're less, you're not as good, you're not as beautiful. They start to become exactly what they keep being told that they are. I think everybody in the world is beautiful to somebody and to some degree. Beauty is not what is on the inside. I know it's a huge cliche, but it really isn't. And you can be beautiful just by believing in yourself. By believing in yourself and learning to love yourself and accept yourself. You know, if you've got a great sense of humor, if you're the kind of person that makes people laugh, if you're the kind of person that makes people feel good and smile when they see you, you are a beautiful person. If you're artistic and you can sing well, or you can draw well, or you can paint, or maybe you can sculpt, you create beauty in the world. Your hands create beauty in the world. You're a beautiful person. Or maybe you're athletic and you can run like the wind, and you can flip and balance and dance with amazing grace to your movements. And who cares, your face might not be altogether gorgeous, but your body creates beauty in how you move, or in how your muscles are when you run. You're creating beauty. You are beauty. The beauty of the human form. The beauty in excelling and pushing yourself and showing how far you can go. You're a beautiful person. There are so many forms of beauty. There's so much out there that you can be. If you let yourself be, if you figure out in your own heart who you are, and what matters to you, and what about you puts beauty out there in the world. There are endless ways. Somebody who's on stage and acting makes people feel happy or sad, makes people laugh, makes people cry. That's beauty. You're putting beauty out there. Somebody who writes poetry or writes a wonderful story. I mean, there are so many ways that you can contribute beauty and goodness to the world and make the world a better place. Find your beauty and walk in that knowledge of your beauty and hold your head high. Because the people on that stage, a lot of those people, that's all they've got. What you see on the face and you see on the body, that's all they've got. They haven't had any need to build their character or find anything inside to contribute. All they have is that superficial mask. So maybe they're not better off. Maybe they are right now. Maybe they turn heads. But then again, consider the men who's turning their heads. Consider the ones that are swayed by that or impressed by that. Are those people somebody you need to know really? Are they really that wonderful? People that are, in my opinion, shallow? Not to say that just because you're attracted by beauty, that makes you shallow. I'm not saying that at all. But most people, in my opinion, who are not shallow understand that there's more. There's more out there that's beautiful. And that a woman, at first glance, who isn't radiant, who isn't gorgeous on the outside, could turn out to be absolutely, amazingly, breathtakingly beautiful on the inside. And they're worth a second look. People who know better know to give people a second look, or even a third look. This is going to be over 15 minutes, I know it. But I just wanted to say, people who, and so it's going to just FYI, it's going to be on my other account until I can have videos over 15 minutes, okay? People who let the message of society get them down and eat away at them and make them bitter and hurtful and depressed and feel like they're worthless. You deserve better, and you gotta fight back. You gotta make up your mind, no, I'm not gonna be the victim. I'm not gonna be the bullied one. I'm not gonna be the one that's the outcast. You have to decide that in your head. And then find your beauty. Find what it is about you that makes you awesome. And then focus on it. And believe in yourself. Put your belief on that. You know, once you figure out yourself, you can start to believe in yourself. And the more you believe in yourself, the more your head is going to be high when you walk down the street. The more you're going to be like, look at me, I rock. And people will look at you and they'll believe it because you believe it. That is my beauty tip for women. Cultivate what's on the inside, because that lasts a lifetime. If you've been watching, thanks. Bye.
I am absolutely convinced that the main source of hatred in the world is religion. And I think it should be religion treated with ridicule and hatred and contempt.